Let us explore the history of Berlin. Berlin has a rich and complex history that spans over 800 years. In the early Middle Ages, Berlin was a small trading settlement. It gained importance in the 13th century as a center of trade and commerce, and became the residence of the electors of Brandenburg in the 15th century. During the 30 Years' War, 1618 to 1648, Berlin was occupied and devastated, but it was rebuilt and continued to grow over the following centuries. In 1701, it became the capital of the Kingdom of Prussia and continued to grow into a major European city during the 19th century. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Berlin became known as a center of culture, science, and politics. However, the city was also marked by political and social tensions, leading to the rise of the Nazi Party and the eventual takeover by the Third Reich in 1933. During World War II, much of the city was destroyed by bombing, and the city was divided into two after the war ended: West Berlin, which was controlled by the Allies, and East Berlin, which was controlled by the Soviet Union. The wall stood for 28 years, dividing the city and its people until it was finally opened in 1989, which led to the reunification of East and West Germany. Since reunification, Berlin has undergone significant changes and has become a thriving cultural and political center once again. Today, Berlin is one of the most vibrant cities in Europe, known for its rich history, cultural offerings, and thriving arts and music scenes. Let us look at the top sites in Berlin. The Brandenburg Gate is one of the most recognizable landmarks in Berlin, and has been a symbol of the city and the country for over 200 years. It was built in the late 18th century as a symbol of peace and unity, and has stood as a focal point of the city's history ever since. The Brandenburg Gate has been the site of many important events, including the Victory Parade of Napoleon's army in 1806, and the famous demonstrations of the East German peace movement in 1989, which eventually led to the reunification of Germany. Today, the Brandenburg Gate is a popular tourist attraction, and is a must-see for anyone visiting Berlin. The Reichstag building is a historic building that has been the seat of the German parliament for much of the 20th century. It was badly damaged in a fire in 1933, and was later restored to become one of the city's most important government buildings. Today, the Reichstag building is a symbol of democracy and the reunification of Germany, and is a popular tourist attraction. Visitors can take a tour of the building, including a climb to the top of the dome for panoramic views of the city. Museum Island is a complex of 5 museums located on an island in the River Spree in Berlin. It is home to some of the most important collections of art, archaeology, and history in the world, including the Pergamon Museum, the Alte Nationalgalerie, and the Bode Museum. Museum Island is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and is a must-visit for anyone interested in the arts, culture, and history of Berlin and Germany. The Berlin Wall Memorial is a site dedicated to the history of the Berlin Wall, which divided the city for 28 years. The memorial includes a section of the original wall, as well as an information center and exhibitions that detail the history of the wall and the lives of those affected by it. The Berlin Wall Memorial is a powerful testament to the city's history of division and reunification, and is an important stop for anyone interested in the history of Berlin and the Cold War. Checkpoint Charlie was one of the most famous crossing points between East and West Berlin during the Cold War. It was a symbol of the division of the city, and a focal point of Cold War tensions between the Western powers and the Soviet bloc. Today, Checkpoint Charlie is a museum that offers a fascinating glimpse into the history of the city and the wider world, and is a popular tourist attraction. What is the best time to visit Berlin? Berlin has a temperate climate with warm summers and cold winters. The best time to visit for good weather is from June to September, when temperatures are warm and comfortable. Berlin is home to many festivals and events throughout the year, including the Berlin International Film Festival in February, the Berlinale, and the Berlin Festival of Lights in October. If you're interested in attending these events, plan your trip accordingly. Berlin is a popular tourist destination, and the summer months can be very crowded. If you're looking to avoid crowds, consider visiting during the shoulder seasons of spring or autumn. Berlin is famous for its Christmas markets, which take place in late November and December. If you're interested in experiencing the festive atmosphere and shopping for holiday gifts, consider visiting during this time. No matter when you choose to visit, there is always something to see and do in Berlin. Whether you're interested in the city's rich history and culture, its vibrant art scene, or its bustling nightlife, there is something for everyone in this fascinating city. Local transportation in Berlin. Berlin has an extensive and efficient public transportation system that makes it easy to get around the city. Berlin S-Bahn. This is a train system that covers most of the city, with regular services running from early morning until late at night. It is a fast and convenient way to travel between different parts of the city. Berlin U-Bahn. This is a subway system that runs throughout Berlin and is a quick and easy way to get around the city. It is especially useful for getting to and from the city center. Berlin has a large network of buses that run throughout the city and provide access to areas not served by the S-Bahn or U-Bahn. Trams run on several routes in the city and are a convenient way to get around, especially in the eastern parts of the city. Berlin is a bike-friendly city, with a large network of bike lanes and bike rental options. Biking is a great way to see the city and get around, especially in the summer months. Overall, the public transportation system in Berlin is reliable and affordable, making it easy to get around the city and explore its many sights and attractions. Here are some tips for tourists visiting Berlin. Get a Berlin Welcome Card. This is a discount card that provides access to many of the city's tourist attractions and also includes unlimited use of public transportation. Explore the city on foot. Berlin is a large city, but many of its main attractions are within walking distance of each other. Walking is a great way to see the city and take in its sights and sounds. Berlin is famous for its street art, and there are many neighborhoods in the city that are home to large murals and graffiti art. Berlin is known for its diverse and delicious cuisine, so be sure to try some of the city's famous dishes, such as currywurst and doner kebab. Let us look at some of the movies set in Berlin. Atomic Blonde, 2017. This action thriller is set in Berlin in 1989, just before the fall of the Berlin Wall. The film follows the story of a top-level spy who is sent to Berlin to retrieve a list of double agents who are being sold to the highest bidder. A Coffee in Berlin, 2012. This comedy-drama film takes a look at the life of a young man named Nico, who is adrift in the city of Berlin. Through his encounters with various characters, the film explores themes of love, loss, and the search for meaning in life. Goodbye Lenin. 2003. This comedy drama is set in East Berlin in 1989, just before the fall of the Berlin Wall. The film follows the story of a young man who must keep his mother from discovering the truth about the fall of the communist East German regime. In order to do this, he creates an elaborate illusion to convince her that East Germany still exists. Inglourious Basterds, 2009. This World War II film is set in Nazi-occupied France and Germany and follows a group of Jewish American soldiers who are tasked with assassinating high-ranking Nazi officers. The film's climactic scene takes place in a movie theater in Berlin, as the soldiers attempt to take down Hitler and other top Nazis. Let us look at some of the books set in Berlin. Alone in Berlin by Hans Fallada. This novel is set in Nazi-occupied Berlin during World War II and follows the story of a working-class couple who begin to resist the Nazi regime through acts of sabotage. Book of Clouds by Chloe Aridhes. This novel is set in contemporary Berlin and follows the story of a young Mexican woman named Tatiana who becomes fascinated by the city's dark history and haunted by its lingering ghosts. The Innocent by Ian McEwan. This novel is set in post-World War II Berlin and follows the story of an English engineer who becomes involved in the city's criminal underworld after being assigned to help rebuild it. Goodbye to Berlin by Christopher Isherwood. This collection of short stories is set in pre-World War II Berlin and follows the lives of a group of expatriates as they navigate the city's vibrant and often dangerous gay subculture. Berlin Alexanderplatz by Alfred Dublin. This novel is set in the working-class neighborhood of Alexanderplatz in 1920s Berlin and follows the story of a petty criminal named Franz Biberkopf as he struggles to rebuild his life after being released from prison. Thanks for watching.